every day we start learning something new.
Did you get a little bit Irish with that one?
Well, we have been researching the great country of Ireland. I almost said state. That's where I am
Great
today.
state.
The great state of Ireland. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, well, shucks, Megan, what time is it?
it's that time.
Is
It's
it?
tin
Tin
hat
hat
time.
time.
Tin hat
Tin hat
time.
time. Tin hat time. Yeah.
Hi everybody.
So hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm excited to delve into some real conspiracy theory land today with you. It wouldn't be a conspiracy theory podcast if we didn't bring up this subject.
Yeah, the Kennedys. So,
The
welcome to Tin
Kennedys.
Hat Time. I guess you
Oh
said
yeah,
it, but
yeah.
welcome to
Well,
Tin Hat
welcome.
Time. I'm Megan.
And I'm Hannah, and we're
Uh,
professionals. Can
we
you
are
tell?
professionals, and we're talking about the Kennedy curse today.
Yes.
Um, yeah.
Man, I feel like our audience, the 17 of you that are out there listening, should know who
Oh,
the
probably less than
Kennedys
that.
are. Yeah. What? Oh, it's
I
less
said,
than that for sure.
probably less
Hi,
than that.
Dad.
Right? Hi, Kelly.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
but
yeah, the Kennedys, the curse of the Kennedy family. Um, do you want to get started? Do you want to
yeah, I
drive
can
this
definitely
boat?
talk about that. So if you haven't heard of the Kennedy curse, like we're talking about, probably it's almost like America's first family, right? Like I think they're really
They're
commonly
American
conferred, like
royalty.
exactly, right? So it's like the Kennedys, like JFK, RFK, former presidents, or not former president and senators. So
And
there's like
the
three
and
or four.
isn't Ted Kennedy, wasn't Ted Kennedy the longest
Yeah,
running
he was
senator? Like he was
he was
the
the
senator for the
third longest running senator. Third
crazy
longest
face.
one. So Ted is a whole subject. We'll get to him later. But anywho, so the Kennedy curse is it seems to be like every 10 to 15-ish years, a Kennedy dies tragically and like in a really bizarre way. So like
Yeah.
the fact that there's three people, I think three at least actual Kennedys that died in a plane crash.
Yeah.
Two assassinations, and then other like just kind of bizarre tragedies.
Do you want me to read the list of bizarre tragedies?
Yeah, you go for it. You read
Hang
it.
on a second. Let me get it pulled up. Oh, stupid phone closed out my list. Stand by, stand by, stand by, stand by.
I have mine ready to go if you want me to.
Standing right by, and we're here. So, I'm just gonna really quickly read the dates and names of the Kennedys that died and like some of the big things, and then we'll kind of talk about individual incidents.
Okay.
August 12th, 1944, Joseph P. Kennedy Jr. Died when the BQ-8 aircraft he was piloting accidentally exploded over Suffolk, England. May 13th, which is my sister's birthday. Happy birthday, bird. Kathleen Kick Kennedy died in a plane crash. And really quickly, Kick is the cutest nickname that somebody named Kathy or Kathleen or Catherine could ever have. What's up, Kick? It's like,
Yeah.
I love you, Kick. Let's go hang out.
Like
no
it
offense,
sounds
Kate, but
similar to the American Girl doll. Like it was Kit. Kit
yes,
was like the
yes,
1940s, like newspaper gal. Like
yeah. But Kick, that's so cute. But she died in a plane crash in France. Patrick Bouvier Kennedy died of infant respiratory distress syndrome 2 days after his premature birth.
I think it was 2
and
weeks.
That was on.
It was 2 weeks after his birth.
The thing that I'm reading off of the internet right now says 2 days, but Wikipedia is owned by the people. And also that was on August 9th, 1963. November 22nd, 1963. That's the big one. U.S. President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas by Lee Harvey Oswald. Putting some quotes around that. And then Oswald was shot dead by Jack Ruby 2 days later. And the CIA didn't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, nor did Richard Nixon.
No. So June 5th, 1968, United States Senator Robert F. Kennedy, on the night of his victory of the California Democratic presidential primary, was shot by Sirhan Sirhan in Los Angeles. April 25th, 1984, David A. Kennedy died of a drug overdose. December 31st, 1997, Michael Lemoyne Kennedy died in a skiing accident and crashed into a tree. These are rich people deaths. John F. Kennedy Jr.
Really
died when the plane he was piloting crashed into the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Martha Vineyard, Massachusetts. Nobody in my family is going to die that way because we don't have enough money to be anywhere near Martha's Vineyard. September 16th,
or piloting your own planes.
Yeah, no, we barely have cars. September 16th, 2011, Cara Kennedy, daughter of Ted Kennedy, died of a heart attack while exercising in a DC health club. May 16th, 2012, Mary Richardson Kennedy, former wife of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., died by suicide. August 1st,
That's the one I don't really include. That's the one I don't consider.
That's she's not a tragedy.
Is it a tragedy? Yes, but is she a part of the bloodline? No. That's
but she married into the bloodline. But okay, that's fine.
I feel like it doesn't. That's just me.
Saoirse
That's my commentary.
Royson. Okay. August 1st, 2019, Saoirse Royson Kennedy Hill, granddaughter of Robert F. Kennedy, died of an accidental drug overdose at the Kennedy compound. April 2nd, 2020, Maeve Kennedy McKean and Gideon McKean, her 8-year-old son, went missing during a canoe trip on the Chesapeake Bay. Maeve's body was found on April 6th. Gideon's body was found on April 8th. Authorities believe Maeve paddled out to retrieve a ball, leading the wind and current to overturn the canoe.
That one's hard because it's really just happened.
Yeah, and a kid.
And it's
but other incidents, and if you'll notice that the first big tragic death happened in 1944. And this first incident happened in November of 1941. I feel that this is the inciting incident to the Kennedy curse. And that is, of course, the botched lobotomy of Rosemary Kennedy. I think she cursed them. I think she did. I believe that with my heart.
See, I think I'll bring up some other stuff, but I think that
so that's basically the list. That's and you're allowed to think that. You can have your opinion, your incorrect opinion on this conspiracy.
You can have your opinion. You like that song?
Hey. My cat's probably going to make a cameo in this when he just crept up onto the computer table.
Yeah, I can hear him aggressively.
Can you hear him
meowing.
Screaming? Yeah,
aggressively meowing. But anywho, so back to the Kennedys though. So some honorable mentions, right?
Yeah.
As far as like bizarre stuff that happened. So Rosemary Kennedy was lobotomized by, her dad gave the A-OK because she was without violent outbursts, and he was worried that would ruin Joe Kennedy's career
and his chance at the presidency.
Correct. Yeah.
So
that's one of those things that plus there's also some stuff where it's like, oh, she was promiscuous, and like all this like weird accusations that like hindsight now we're just like, oh wow, that's people being sexist and dumb.
So I read some stuff about poor Miss Rosemary Kennedy and about how she was trapped in the birth canal for several hours. Like the nurse literally put her hand up and put her hand up against like the little baby head trying to come out and said, no, not till the doctor gets here. And so she was denied oxygen in the birth canal. And so she had some mental challenges. She was handicapped. And in a family that was so competitive and so like those children were driven by their father to achieve greatness, and like they had to achieve, and she wasn't going to be able to achieve.
You're last. So
and if you're not the president, and if you don't become the president and then make all your brothers like captains of America or whatever, then what was his name? Joe Kennedy was really
Joe
trying
Kennedy.
to set up an American royal family, a dynasty.
Which I think
with,
to be honest, to an extent he did, right? He did
I mean,
succeed.
they called the Kennedy years the Camelot years. Although I do have to admit that this is the only thing about Kennedy stuff that is intriguing to me, is this whole big family curse concept. And God, I never should have brought that stupid cat out here. But yeah, so the Kennedy curse has always been really intriguing. I never got that into the conspiracy theories behind JFK's murder and that kind of stuff. Although I did feed 8 hours of my energy to the last podcast on the Left Boys when I listened to their
thing about JFK.
Yeah, but like this is interesting to me, and I like the idea of, okay, I guess I don't like the idea, but like the idea is intriguing to me, that this father who wanted to create this, who like he's very narcissistic. He was also a Nazi sympathizer, but
yeah, I mean, that
wanted to create,
to give some context on that, right? So Mr. Kennedy Sr., right, Joe Sr., was an ambassador in the UK, I believe. Mm-hmm. And when the war started, he made very sympathetic, defeatist type comments that really got him alienated from kind of the American public. So like when his son ran for office, right, when JFK ran for office, like Joe Sr. was behind the scenes. Nobody really liked Joe after that, because I mean, he basically was okay with Germany winning.
Yeah, he was part of what they called the not appeasers. Like they wanted to just appease and try to make it so that way Germany didn't attack England and that kind of stuff. Which, like,
yeah, he was like, I don't think he was necessarily a Nazi sympathizer, but he was like definitely like,
it was appease. Yeah. There were some people who were in the camp of appeasement and let's just stay out of that kind of a thing. But that's ultimately,
we're not here to talk about World War II, though we could. I would love.
No,
we're
definitely no. Oh God, I would get so many facts and dates wrong. And these are I've shoved so many Kennedy facts and dates into my head that I started doing a Boston kind of a thing earlier, and I was like, "What are you doing, Hannah Jane? What is this?" But yeah, so I think that the idea of this crazy controlling father who wanted to set his children up for this crazy success, because that would be his success, like he was his vicariously legacy, right? Getting exactly. And then he has this bright, beautiful daughter who, like, by all accounts, like Rosemary Kennedy was vivacious and she was funny. She was prone to like outbursts, but who wasn't? She seemed like she was all around a really like a cool gal, like a fun person, a little out and about, a little brash, maybe not like as with it as the other Kennedys, but but without Rosemary's consent, without speaking to their mother, without speaking to anybody, her father went and had her lobotomized. Or they like take an ice pick through your eyes and hammer it in and like destroy the frontal lobes of your brain. And after that, she had the capacity of a toddler.
Yeah.
And their father was just like, we're not speaking about Rosemary anymore. No more talk about her.
Put her in the home basically for the rest of her life.
And I think
so she didn't die until 2005.
Yep. I guess her great nieces and nephews and stuff like that kind of found out about her and were like, what the fuck? And pulled her out of the shitty place and put her in a nicer spot. And like her sister, Eunice Kennedy, I can't remember her married name, but was the one who founded the Special Olympics, pretty much because of what happened to Rosemary.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. That Eunice seemed like a pretty cool person.
Yeah, she did. Which maybe was why she wasn't as cursed.
Yeah, potentially. I don't know.
Because
I don't know if it was her kids.
I think that the idea of, like I was saying, like, that father figure making that decision for his daughter, like that, curse.
So
Curse you.
other honorable mentions though, is Ted Kennedy. Actually, I don't know if you read this during your readings, but Ted Kennedy was in a plane crash
Mhm.
and broke his backs, and like I think it's like the pilot died, but he didn't die.
And there was
Um,
another senator that was in there that like had to pull him out.
yeah, but like
Yeah.
he should have died in a plane crash, which I mean, that's crazy that like he would have been the third Kennedy, like, and it was like within like 20 years to like die in a
Hmm.
plane crash or whatever. So
I
like
feel like
Ted
if your last
Kennedy,
name is Kennedy, don't get into a small plane.
yeah, dude,
Paula,
for real.
Paula, don't do it.
Yeah.
Her
Is there a
maiden name is
Paula?
Kennedy. Paula's maiden name is Kennedy, yeah.
Oh, Paula. Oh, our friend. Okay.
Our Paula. Oh, yeah. Paula Kennedy. She's not one of those Kennedys.
Got me
But
confused for a second. I was like, God, is there like a really well-known Paula Kennedy that I don't know about?
yeah, obviously.
Anywho,
She's my best friend.
let me tell you about my
My
best
best
friend.
friend.
Other honorable mentions though with Ted Kennedy, is he murdered a girl
Yeah.
and
In the
covered it up.
Chippaquiddick.
Chippaquiddick. I think it's
Chippaquiddick.
Chippaquiddick. Yeah, the
Chippaquiddick.
Chippaquiddick incident.
I keep just trying to say Quidditch. And
But that, oh God, that's so interesting. It's like he
that story's
definitely like
fucked up.
tried to strangle her or whatever, and then he drove off of a bridge into a pond, and he swam out, and supposedly he kept trying to save her, and then walked back to the party that he had left, with her from.
Yeah.
And then told his buddies like, "Hey, this happened," and they're like,
But don't
"Yeah, we
tell
should
anyone at the
go."
party.
Yeah, don't tell anyone, and then don't go try to get her, because he's
I
like,
don't
well,
want
I don't
you
want
to get hurt.
Yeah, don't risk your lives. But like, he also didn't report it to the police until the next day, and
Cool.
she had survived for like 3 to 4 hours. Like, she wasn't quite murdered, she'd been strangled. And then she found a little air pocket like in the car, and like tried, like to live for like 3 to 4 hours is what they guesstimated she was probably alive for. So she could have been saved, and she probably would have been like, Ted Kennedy tried to fucking kill me.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good God.
And then
could you imagine being
the
trapped in a car underwater with a little pocket of air for the length of the Return of the King?
Can you imagine living in a country where the third longest senator, or the third longest reigning senator, had murdered a gal, and it was well known?
I mean, we don't have to imagine that. We do.
Correct. Yeah, so crazy that dude was, I mean, this is a US government, right? But like, whatever.
That's for a different podcast, Megan. Save it for a different podcast.
A different sigh for a different day. Like, very frustrating. But no, so that is pretty crazy that happened. So that's kind of like ish in the curse, but more like Ted Kennedy was not a cool dude.
Yeah.
But so I know that you think that it started with is it Joe or I think it's Joe. It's Joe Sr.
I'm gonna pull up John.
I wrote down John Sr., but I don't think
it's Joseph P. Kennedy Jr. The dad.
He was the one who died.
Is senior.
So it is Joe.
Yeah.
Okay. So you think it started with Joe Sr., who was definitely like kind of a snake. I mean, the whole defeat us thing. He also got a lot of his wealth through insider trading, which was illegal then. But
that doesn't make it chill though.
No, it does not make it chill. It makes it morally wrong, right?
Yeah.
Like this, yeah. But I think it actually started in Ireland. I think their curse started a long time ago. So there's a guy who wrote a book about this. I have to pull it up because I want to read from it. What's this guy's name? Edward Klein wrote about the Kennedy curse, and all about basically the family in Ireland, and kind of his thoughts on the curse. But he thinks it started like back in like the 1500s, basically, through fratricide, which is like when you kill a close member in your family.
Maybe like a brother or sister kind of a thing.
Yeah, like or like a cousin or something, okay. Right? Like it's, you kill someone like really close in the same family as you, and you essentially curse yourself, according to like Irish lore, right? Is like, okay. And there's a Celtic name for it, dude. Or Gaelic. I don't know. Your face is saying something, but I don't know how to say any of these words. So like, I'm not even gonna try. Can you? Because it starts with a G, but like, I'm not.
Can you spell it?
Yes. So it is Geasa.
Geasa. Geasa.
Geasa.
So Geasa.
There is so apparently the Kennedys have always been very hot-headed. And they're in 1194, so this goes back even farther. In 1194, I don't think that was correct. I think that's like an incorrect date, but whatever. It says 1194. Murrow Kennedy. I don't know. And God, Irish names are really fucking hard to say.
No, I know. I'm really having a good time watching you try to figure out which one has a sh and where the
Lachlan. I think it's Lachlan.
Lachlan. Yeah,
Lachlan Kennedy.
Lachlan's
but
a cool
name. It's spelled like Loughlain.
Lachlan.
Anywho, so basically murdered a cousin, and then in 1599, a cousin seduced a cousin, and then that cousin's like sibling murdered the cousin who seduced the other cousin. So I mean, that happened, but basically
can I just really, this is a blanket statement, don't seduce your cousin.
Yeah, I feel like
that's it. So
goes without saying. But so in Irish mythology, right, basically too many of these geisas or whatever, they bring upon an untimely death, right?
Okay.
So there's basically that theory of they brought this curse upon themselves, like their own family members cursed them. Because when you get down the line, right, and you look at like actually like the family that Joe is born into, like only 3 of like 9 siblings survived.
That's pretty regular, though.
They all died, and like then like his dad's same sort of thing. Like I know that like it was kind of a common thing that like there wasn't a lot of cleanliness. People didn't understand bacteria, or anything like
Typhoid.
That, or illnesses. Like, well, yeah. So Patrick Kennedy, Joe Sr.'s dad, he died at like 35 of tuberculosis.
They're all named Joe, Joseph, John, or Patrick, or Robert.
Confusing.
It's like confusing. Jesus Christ. Are there only 5 names?
And it may have been Joe Sr.'s grandfather was Patrick, I think is what it is. But so an alternative theory of why the Kennedys are cursed is Patrick. There was the first Patrick to come over to the US. He was technically married before he ran off with like his cousin. And this was back in the day of like dowry.
To another cousin?
I think the first wife was not a cousin. So he left his wife for a cousin, and he took the dowry and used it to like basically buy tickets to get to the US with like the cousin. So,
oh shit.
And like was hella sneaky about it. Didn't tell his family, and like even had like he bought a ticket basically for like the cousins and the cousin and then her parents, and it wasn't really clear whether like it was like a second cousin or a first cousin, but it said that it was looked down upon, so I'm assuming it was like aunt and uncle and like cousin, like first cousin is what I would guess. But anywho, he
very
bought
unhappy
them
Muppet
tickets,
face.
bought them tickets to basically go to England and then sail to the US or whatever, using that dowry. So it's very possible that wife number one technically cursed them and cursed him, because I mean he straight up dipped with like a large wad of cash essentially,
and his cousin.
Yes, I mean like that's
I would be furious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I could get behind that one.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
Yeah.
I think yeah, Kennedy curse, man. It's an interesting.
Yeah, so I think it extends back.
You think
I
it
bet that
came
Patrick,
back from the guy from Ireland?
Yes. So I also
that would have been their great JFK's grandfather, great grandfather.
This dude came over in the 1840s, so I think it was Joe Senior's grandfather.
So great.
It would be like JFK's great.
Oh yes, God, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know
how to do the great.
I didn't want to pay on like Ancestry to like look the family tree.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, basically, I think Patrick Kennedy cursed them essentially, because I would bet that Little Miss Thing that got left and essentially robbed, that she probably cursed him. And so like, there's one I looked up like uncommon Irish curses, like how you would curse people, and there's one that I think would apply to basically all of them.
Ooh, interesting. Tell me.
Which is, may you be badly positioned on a windy day. And like all I can think is like the plane shit, right? And like for the people that OD'd, like it could still be a windy day and like maybe you just lay down on your side fucking weird. But like I think about like the 2021, like the mom and the 8-year-old, like they say that the wind blew over.
I don't know about the wind that day in Dallas.
But like think about like the ski accident, all the plane crashes, like that's like straight up fucking wind fucked you up, you know? Like JFK, it was a windy day. It was a fucking windy day.
Ooh.
Right? Like,
ooh, that's good. That's good.
I know.
That's good.
Like,
that's some simple Irish ass shit.
Right?
I can get behind it.
Is like, if you curse someone, you don't necessarily know the ramifications of the curse that you're giving them. So you could just be like, yeah, I fucking hope he has bad luck, but like,
yeah,
you inadvertently curse someone. I don't know.
I usually try to be specific when I curse somebody, like specific and small. Like, I hope your socks get wet and you get stuck walking around wet socks all day.
I mean, there's also too a curse that's like, I hope you have untimely death. So it's like, that's probably the more likely one, but I like the wind one. I like
the wind one's less. Well, also Rosemary Kennedy didn't die.
She did not.
No. So that's why I think she could have cursed them, because now she's trapped in her own mind.
Yeah, that's true. It's very true. So, but I think about that like with like Ted Kennedy. Ted Kennedy is just like randomly lucky, but he should have died in a plane crash. But I could have just been a windy day. So, I mean, it's totally possible.
Dang.
Well,
yeah, I think it's interesting that this family that was so beautiful, so photogenic, so photographable, so rich and tan, and oh, how they have everything. Just tragedy after tragedy after tragedy befalls them. And even Ted Kennedy, after his whole "I didn't murder that lady" thing, when he definitely murdered that lady that time that he murdered her, he totally murdered
allegedly
her.
I mean, he's already dead. I don't think they can come for us, but like,
I mean,
allegedly.
if the Kennedy people want to come after us, they legit have nothing else to do.
Yeah, enjoy like, my change jar
anymore. Yeah. You're welcome to the douchebag jar, the Kennedys. As my gran likes to say, is can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. So I don't even know where we were going with that.
The douchebag jar is the change jar, is the swear jar.
Yeah, that's what the douchebag. Oh yeah. When Megan and I lived together, we started up a douchebag jar where anytime, I mean, if you've seen New Girl, it's that thing, but it's yeah.
Oh, that's right. I forgot it was on New Girl too.
Yep. We're not that individually clever. We didn't come up with the douchebag.
That's right. I guess I just always forget about New Girl. Like, oh, people are gonna come for me for that, but like,
okay, I liked New Girl a lot. I liked it until I didn't. They got that couple together too soon. They needed to have more of a tension with Jess and Nick. They got them together too fast.
They needed a Jim and Pam-ish situation where it takes them a few seasons to get together. A few
seasons, and not like, whatever. Like there needed to be a longer time with that. But the kid who plays Nick is so freaking cute that it hurts. Oh, he is going to give him a million little kisses. But that has nothing to do with the Kennedys.
It does not.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. But no, I personally think that Rosemary Kennedy, trapped in her own brain, stewed and thought, and cursed her father and her father's sons.
Yeah. If we want to go an alternate direction, though, like we can talk about, like, it's possible that JFK was assassinated because he was going to release documents about aliens to Russia. So Nixon had him killed. Oh, that's a whole thing. Oh, you guys should.
Yeah.
We should get into that. Like, that's a whole thing.
We should definitely delve into that at some point. After I listened to the last podcast, big long thing about the Kennedy assassination, I was just like, there is no objective reality.
There's
truth doesn't exist.
A good documentary that has 3 stars, so it's good.
Oh yeah.
On Amazon we've been watching. It's a different one than I had you watch. I watched a different one. It's like so Nixon, boring. Kennedy, and I can't remember who else. There's somebody else. And the alien presence. It's literally called that, and like, there's a whole thing, like UFO TV or whatever is the one who like produced it. So it's like, it's like you see an alien first thing. Oh my god, when you turn it on. But no, like their shit is so interesting. Like they talk about
that. Sounds like a lot of fun. That sounds like the kind that I would either super love, or it would have me like rage screaming like the Ghost Adventurers does.
Yeah, but like basically, there's the whole thing about like Roswell and all that, like that happened, and like the fact that, I don't know, they think that he was gonna be like, yo, we've seen some UFOs and weird shit and all this type of stuff, and
that was why they assassinated him,
because he was gonna release the info and potentially
disclosure.
Like, but it comes back to like the whole, like, his dad was sort of a sympathizer, wanted to avoid war type of thing. And so like, if Kennedy was in the same mindset, like JFK, he would have given alien documents or whatever to Russia. Like that would have been bad. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a possibility for the level to the conspiracy of why JFK was murdered. The whole thing, aliens. The whole glitz and glamour of the Kennedys and how beautiful everything was, and the Camelot era and all that thing, and then just everything that's just tragedy and death and plane crashes and assassinations. It's just,
it's wild. I like the alien conspiracy though. That seems like not, I don't know, potentially rooted in reality. Did you see you didn't see the news, right? We talked about this earlier.
What? So, that's right. You were gonna. Real quick before we do this, do you have anything else that you want to say about the Kennedy curse?
No. I think I'm good on the Kennedy curse.
I think I am too. Yeah. I think that, I think that family's cursed.
I think they curse themselves, honestly. Like, I genuinely think that they curse themselves. Like, whether it was Rosemary Kennedy or them like having a curse before, but like their shitty behavior led to their
Curse
curses.
them. Yeah. Yep.
Right. Like, and like, I don't mean that like to disrespect, like, you know, like the kid who died, like that's the couple
not fair.
kids that died. Like also like just real.
Well, that
real
can
quick,
also just be, I feel like that's more of when you lose a child in like childbirth or right afterwards, that kind of a curse seems to be on the parent.
yeah. So I mean, like I was actually talking about the 2020 kid, but like also the one that you know, Jackie lost. But
because Jackie Onassis, she lost a couple of children.
Yeah, Jackie had she had like a miscarriage or a stillbirth.
Both.
I think she had a stillbirth, and then
she had a stillbirth after she had a miscarriage.
Yeah,
she had a miscarriage,
stillbirth.
She got pregnant
then,
again, had a stillbirth. Yeah.
The Patrick Bouvier, he died pretty soon after birth. So if you think about that timeline, that child died in August, and then her husband was assassinated in November, and like she's going through like all the postpartum shit, and then like of like grieving her child that died, and then her husband is murdered in front of her. Like that shit blew my mind. Ooh. I never knew about her side of it and like what she went through, and like all you hear about like JFK died, and I was like, fuck, Jackie went through the worst of it. Like in my mind, like she got the shit end of that stick, like more than anyone else. Like, oof, the pain she had to live with. Oh my god. Yeah. So I like to bring things down a level.
I noticed you really bring it down to the bummer. You're making me get this little hatchet mark in between my eyebrows. Like, yeah, it's bad.
You're welcome.
Actually, I think that was put there by 2020. It's not your fault.
I think everyone, like, we all need Botox after this past year.
Dude, I've thought about it.
Yeah, like, why not? I don't know.
Right? I can't afford it. That's why not.
I would rather get lip fillers. I don't care if they stain your face.
See, but
forever.
I think that your lips are pretty, though. It puts a little lips, and yeah, they're nice.
I would rather have big, fat, juicy lips.
Cool.
DSLs.
I get it. Stop. My dad listens to this.
He's going to be like, Hannah, what are DSLs?
I don't think he is. Megan, I think he knows what that means. He's pretty with it.
I hope your dad still asks you.
Yeah. Yeah, Dad, would you write into the podcast and tell us if you know what DSL means or not? Follow us on Instagram. Daddy. Thank you.
But anywho, so in the news, right? To circle back.
Oh yeah.
In current events, right? To talk about weird stuff in the news. So the U.S. government recently released a video of from 2019 of these triangle-shaped aircrafts. Like, so think like a play button, right? So like a triangle like on its side, aircrafts like fucking flying above a ship in the ocean, like a fucking, either it was a Coast Guard ship or a Navy ship, fucking somebody in the ocean, right? But unexplained shit, like they ruled out their own guys, right? Like some weird dark project or whatever. They ruled out their own stuff. They don't think it's an enemy or like any other governments type of thing, and nobody's
I was just trying to
up
find
to
a picture.
Oh, it's a video. It's a fucking video. They have a video of it. I watched it, dude. It's fucking weird. Like,
send it to me.
Okay, all right, I'll send it to you. But like, so it's like, you know, aircrafts or whatever, kind of flying around or whatever. Don't think it's you know, anyone else, any other countries, but it's like truly unexplained. And they're like, yeah, this happened. So, yeah.
Holy cool? Shit.
That like the U.S. government was like, yes. Like recently,
2019, it's aliens, probably.
Yeah, fucking aliens, bro. Like, how fucking cool is that?
That's pretty fucking neat.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. Although the reptilians are already here. So.
Already, right? Like, we don't need to worry about that. Our reptilian overlords will take care of the aliens, so it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's current news for the wild and the weird.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to
I
add.
don't have anything else to add today either. I would like to say thank you to everybody who's been rating, reviewing, and subscribing on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. Like those reviews really go a long way, guys. Like, thank you so much.
Tell your
And if you
friends.
haven't left a review yet, please go out there, leave us a little review, follow, subscribe, like wherever you're listening to us right now. Pick it up and just hit that little follow button. It's gonna do a world of good for us. Yes.
Please.
And
please follow, rate, review, subscribe. Also, send us your weird and strange stories.
yes.
So, like, whether it's your conspiracy theory you're interested in, a weird ghost story, whatever your weird story is, please email it to us at tinhattimepodcast@gmail.com. Would love to start hearing listener stories. Please
slide right into my DMs.
Send us stories, our friends that listen.
Yeah, our human friends who hang out with us in the real world and have to look me in the eye.
Anyone.
All of you, but especially the people who at some point, possibly later today, will have to look me in the eye and be like, did you listen to my podcast? And then you go,
just send us your weird stories.
Kevin.
Please. And then rate, review, and subscribe. That would be rad.
Yeah. So slide into my DMs on the Instagram, Tin Hat Time Podcast, TINHAT podcast on Instagram. Yeah. It's been lovely chatting.
So
yeah.
Okay.
On this
bye.
Beautiful corner.